Hello friends, welcome back to In It All Is Art. My name is Angela, and in today's video I will be bringing you along for the outdoor decorating part 1 of Halloween 2025. I do hope you enjoy. So I'll start with some cleanup and then I'll dive in. I'll check in periodically and share some of the insights of the decor that you might see. I think one of the most amazing pieces of this year actually wasn't purchased at all. It was a gift from a tree pruning company that just happened to be in my neighborhood, and the guy was working on some willow, or rather he was working on other trees that were near a willow, and I just asked if he was working on the curly willow, and he said nope, but I do work on it all the time. And then he just brought me 6 massive branches of curly willow, so you'll see those at the front entrance along either side, and I think there they are. They just really make the whole thing come together. And by the whole thing, I'm meaning the witch's lair that I have created this year. It's a garden apothecary, witchy, kind of practical magic feeling kind of entryway. It really, every time I see it, is making my heart sing, and I do hope you enjoy. So there's that willow branch herb hanging DIY that I did. That is what people will walk under. It will be all lighted up with a black light and the orange string lights. And I think that the whole effect is just really striking. So this gargoyle statue is from a local craftsman and was a Mother's Day present from my husband. It usually goes on a much larger pedestal in the back garden. And then the tree, the little willow tree, is from Michael's this year. And I think between that and then a spotlight, it really lights that gargoyle up nicely. So this cauldron came from Decor Steels. They had it as part of a Steal It box, which is a grouping of decor pieces for a lesser price. And I got it probably about 2 years ago. And so I don't know if they still have it, but I saw it and got it. And then I created that bubble top. You may have seen that DIY here on YouTube with others. I haven't put my DIY video out yet, but I will share the process, the making process of that. There's my DIY broom, and that is being held up by a little stake in the ground, and then put the bristles down in the center of that stake. I do have to reposition the witch. The witch also came in that Decor Steels box. It came with a cauldron and 2 witches that have lighty uppy heads. I'm only going to use one of them for this year. And then some other really neat little objects. But back to this. Yeah, at first I had her just staked in the ground, but then I end up putting her in a big pot with some soil to really anchor her down in. And she has lots of familiars. This unicorn is one of them. And then you will see there are more anatomically incorrect animal skeletons. And that mannequin head, I created that DIY. She's my autumnal goddess. I created that probably about 3 or so years ago. She lights up neon and day glow under the black light, so she looks really cool. And then I'm now hanging some flickering flame lights. They came from Walmart. And I adore, there they are, that's the company in the box. I adore how they look for this like witchy lair. And you can see in the background, there's 3 of the DIY projects that I've done for this year. There's the terrarium down there by the little mini witch, and then there's the hanging urn, and then you can see the spooky autumnal bouquet arrangement there behind. And the other favorite thing you will see here in a little bit that I have, I'm now opening the box for them. It's my birthday present from my husband, and he got me 2 of the Pottery Barn spider webs. And if anybody has gotten to play with those, you'll know they are super fun. They're really well made, really sturdy, and just take my breath away. And so I'm just going to weave some of those lighted, like fairy lighted willow branches up into it. And so they really blend. And then that little, the light bulb in that lantern, there's another word for that, but I'm losing my words right now. There is a black light in there. So you'll see at the end of the video, I'll take you on a tour, a nighttime tour, and it just all comes together really beautifully. And so here, the very first DIY video that I published on YouTube was those these bats, these hanging bat planters with the ferns. All the stuff is from Michael's. That video will be linked at the end if you are interested in seeing it. So I just think that they are so fun and add a really unique little bit of conservatory type of charm to this witchy lair. There they are, all 3 of them hanging. And that bat that's kind of getting lost in the tree, which is a loquat tree, by the way. It will have a dark kind of hanging background. Here is the front. There's that willow. I've also pulled a whole bunch of my plants from my backyard to the front to add to the just kind of lush, spooky garden look. The twinkly lights on that loquat tree, those are actually called twinkly lights, and those are programmable. So then I just put them up at the beginning of the Halloween season and take them down after Christmas. That is a really lovely quality in those lights. So that footed tray with the skeleton hands, that came from Pottery Barn. And then as you see, there's that little lighty-uppy snail from World Market. I think there's a neat little charm to a little tea setup for this witch. And then the unicorn skeleton has this little bowl of mossy grass, and there will be a spider and a pumpkin there. So there's those big flowers that I put together a DIY video, a hodgepodge, and those are part of that. And so those and some bats and some hanging drapey witchy goodness make the other side of the entry. But this side really focuses on just abundance. There is so much to look at there. And I'll play with it and move it all around. And then there will be some black lights, a strand, there they are, a strand of black lights that go through and highlight some of those things for the nighttime view. So much of the faux foliage that you see just comes from scouring the thrift stores, Goodwill, St. Vincent de Paul, and there's a couple of other local thrift stores that are in my area. So that just like all of these little weird balls and things like that, those came from thrift stores. And as did the cauldron, or not the cauldron, I'm sorry, the teapot and the silver plated teapot and those things. So it keeps the cost down and adds to the uniqueness because you can't really find them anywhere else. And then where I go big is the like skeletons and things like that. So this year I added this dragon to my collection. And you will see in part 2 his friend that stands up. I have a dragon skeleton that stands up, and that goes in the cemetery that I have yet to create because that lawn out front needs to be mown one more time. And by the time it is ready for Halloween actually proper, that hose will be gone as well. So it won't be interrupting the gorgeous like witchiness that's there. That doesn't really fit. And there's the spooky mushroom wreath DIY. I need to adjust some of the leaves. They came apart. So there it is in the daytime. Thank you so much for watching. And now here is the nighttime, the reason why we're all here.